and final open call for vertical replicability enablers, which we will be discussing in the following 1.5 hours. So going to today's agenda, yes, we will start with a brief introduction to the 6GXR project, followed by an explanation of the more formal and procedural aspects of the call and the application process. Then we proceed with a technical breakdown of the research infrastructures that 6GXR provides to support the selected projects. And lastly, we will provide an overview of each of the 17 topics of the 5 areas of interest that the call is targeting. The Q&A will be held at the end. So you may send us your questions throughout this webinar in the dedicated Q&A box at the bottom of your window. We will address your questions at the end of this webinar. We have also enabled a separate chat box, which you can use to communicate with us, with the panelists, if needed. And finally, we will also record this session and make it available on the 6GXR website very soon. So then I will pass the virtual floor to the 6GXR's project coordinator, Jussi Hakkala.
Okay, welcome to the seminar, or info webinar. So if you change to the next slide. So 6GXR is research facilities and also extended reality. So this is a project lasting for 3 years. It started in the beginning of 2023, and it will end in approximately 1 year's time. We have 15 partners in the consortium representing from 8 countries, and I'm the coordinator, and our technical manager is Dr. Mohamed Al-Rawi from IT, which is in Portugal. So the overall objective of the project is to strengthen the European leadership on next generation XR services and infrastructures and provide state-of-the-art or beyond state-of-the-art capabilities towards the 6G era. Next slide. So we will basically do this by having a number of different work packages and tasks and related objectives in the project. So at the core of 6GXR, there are research infrastructure, so-called North nodes and South nodes. In the North node, we have the University of Oulu 5GTN research infrastructure, as well as the VTT 5GTN research infrastructure. In the South node, we have the 5-tonic research infrastructure from Madrid and the I2CAT testbed in Barcelona. And as you can see from here, we have cascading actions, which this info webinar is all about. And currently, this is the 3rd and final open call. It relates to the tasks 7.1 to 7.4. And it will, the entire scope of open call 3 is to help us in our XR use case validation actions and also provide new enablers to the different research infrastructures, and also in this 3rd and final open call to actually benchmark, test, validate, and replicate the aspects we have done in other parts of the project. So we have the network and computing enablers that we address in work package 2, which deal with end-to-end slicing, service migration, smart orchestration, 5-6G control plane, etc. Then we have the extended reality enablers, which especially with regards to holographic communications. Then we have the actual run enablers, which span the beyond 5G and core networks, both in 3GPP and in open source environments. And we're also addressing disruptive 6G RAN technologies. Our work package 5 and objective 5 revolves around an energy measurement framework where we characterize the entire operations of a cellular end-to-end system with renewable energies, taking into account forecasting and trying to optimize the entire telco network operations by using as much renewable energies as possible. Next slide. And
Yes.
that's the basics. And Maria Chiara.
Yes, I take over from you see from here. We have in the project, as mentioned, 3 waves of open calls. The first one is about the network, the extension of the for research infrastructure that has been developed during the first year of the project in 2023, while the second open call that is now running under execution from the partner, the third party, sorry, it was about the StreamB enabler, and the third and open call that we are now talking about mainly is about the vertical replicability enabler. And on the side of the slide is the number of projects that we are planning to have. A key aspect of the open call, for obvious reason, are the key dates. So the submission will be done in 2 phases. And the first one, it will be the feasibility check. And the feasibility check is compulsory. So it's important that for all the submission to be eligible, to have the first submission. Then we're going to have this final submission. And this is the plan for receiving the notification of the results, the start of the project, and the end. But we will go dive into details in the next slides. So we are looking for the kind of entity that we would like to onboard as a third party, RSME, industry, research, and scientific organization, and academia. We identified a set of eligibility criteria, and all of them needs to be respected, starting from being an entity established in one of the countries that are, let's put it in the way, allowed to participate to the open call, to the Horizon Europe project. So member states and associated country. The submission should be done by only one single party, no little small consortia is allowed. Of course, there is the need for having the absence of conflict of interest towards the CGXR members. And the type of activity that we will fund are personnel, travel cost, and indirect cost, that it's the 25% on top of the previous 2 items. The submission must be done in English. Visibility check, as I mentioned before, is mandatory, and it requires at least the section A, B, C, and J. The submission must be done only by using the online tool made available on the project website, by using the template provided, which needs to be uploaded in PDF format. And the deadline, of course, needs to be respected and being compliant to the GDPR regulation. What we offer? We offer for each project 60K for a project of a maximum duration of 6 months, and in total we will fund 12 projects. This is it is important to also to have a clarification on the plan for the payment. We're gonna give only one payment at the end of the project. We do not need any document, no financial document required like invoice or anything. It will be done in the class, called the lump sum grant model. We only need a final report that includes financial and technical information after the end of the project, within 15 days. And it will be assessed and approved by the consortium. And we will tackle later also this aspect. How the process works. We're going to have different phases, starting from the feasibility check that will be with the submission at the date indicated in the slide. Once we're going to receive this feasibility check, we will do an eligibility and feasibility check. The eligibility will be done to see if all the eligibility aspects have been respected by the Open Call Steering Committee, while the feasibility check will be done by the research infrastructure mentor that has been selected in the submission. There will be a second step for the final submission where more details are requested, and the process will be exactly the same as for the feasibility check. Once this submission will be done, there will be an evaluation, an external evaluation done by 2 experts that are out of the consortium without any conflict of interest. And they will do their own evaluation. With their evaluation, we'll move on to the following step. So there will be a consensus meeting and a final check that also includes all the legal aspect. And this is going to bring to the ranking and the reserve list. And this will be done by the 60XR consortium. And finally, there will be the project execution and then the final and legal payment, etc., which is the last phase of the project. Just a quick highlight of some of the key points that I believe it's important to highlight is that, as mentioned before, we're going to have the eligibility and feasibility check and done externally. But in order to have a more balanced distribution of resources, it could happen that not all the request, the submission are aligned. So we will provide the possibility for a negotiation of the use of an alternative research infrastructure from the one that has been selected, but also keeping a balance of having a minimum 1 project for each research infrastructure, up to 4. All the other projects that will be above the threshold that, according to the criteria that will be evaluated, will be included in the reserve list. So the evaluation criteria will be the one listed here in this slide, and but this is detailed in the document that are available on the website. How to apply? For the application, we will use the website, the dedicated page for the website, and there are 2, for the 2 phases, the applicant should select the corresponding phase for which is submitted and upload the document by using the template provided. I would like to give you a few tips before proceeding with the submission. First of all, read carefully the whole Open Call Toolkit, all the documents that are available on the website. Submit in advance your proposal for both feasibility and final submission. Also, it's possible to submit many times. It will be considered only the very last version that will be submitted. Follow the indication that you're gonna receive from the mentor of your feasibility check, which is important to be successful, I would say. And also have your PIC number ready. If you are not registered, the procedure is quite easy. There is a link on the open call info document on how to proceed. And finally, we will provide support for the open call process. There is the FAQ page and here is the link. Check the templates, and also if you need further support, just drop us a message and we will be happy to reply to you. And said that, I will hand over to Jarno. I think you will be presenting the research infrastructure.
Yes, next slide, please. So before we go
Yes.
into the detailed introduction of the specific test facilities in the project offering to host the OpenCall3 projects, just a couple of deliverables from the project that could be of interest to you to check out as well when preparing for your project ideas. So at the project website, in the deliverable section, there is a deliverable 1.2 describing the reference architecture of the whole project. The reference architecture basically includes a superset of all the enablers that the project has been either applying or developing for the XR use cases during the first 2 years. And these are the let's say the high-level domains where different kind of enablers are available at test facilities as well. So they cover different domains from the user devices, network components to the edge resources and open data cloud services. There is also specific enablers available at the management and orchestration layer of the test facilities, and also at the network exposure framework. Here a little more in detail for the user devices, specifically in addition to the communication devices, there is devices for XR content capture and consumption available at the sites. In the network side of things, the different technology options for wireless connectivity ranging from 3GPP, 5G, 4G connectivity to Open RAN and open source solutions, and to prototype disruptive technologies as well. Edge and cloud platforms, mainly enablers in the form of capacity to host different kind of services and applications, including also AI processing, and on the management and orchestration layer, there is enablers for edge and service orchestration and remote experimentation as well. A set of APIs in the core network are also in the RAN from different let's say specification groups. So details are available in the deliverables at the website. Next slide, please. When it comes to the deployment of these different enablers from the superset that is described in the deliverable 1.2 as a reference architecture, we have in a separate document in deliverable 1.3 also some more details on the deployment of these enablers at the research infrastructures and the test facilities. So in the south node, the subset of enablers are focusing on the holographic communications use case specifically, and there in the edge processing, orchestration, and federation enablers, and in the core network APIs for core network research and capability exposure. In the north node in Finland, the focus is on the 3G digital twin, real-time virtual reality collaboration, and end-to-end energy measurements and optimization. So this is roughly the division of deployed enablers between the different sites. Here, as a wrap-up of this generic introduction to the research infrastructure, is the let's say the hierarchy of the overall setup. So for the remote remote experimentation, the project offers a web portal through which the different sites can be accessed for either for configuration of a certain kind of experiments, and then let's say fetching of experimentation results for post analysis. So these remote capabilities are also available for certain kind of experiments, not all, but for certain experimentation types. But if we go to the next slide and more in the details of the actual test facility, starting from the North Node, so I guess Jussi will introduce the university side first.
Yes. So our University of Oulu 5G test network, so it's situated at the University of Oulu campus. We just renewed our base station infrastructure. So currently we have we effectively are a micro operator. We do not commercialize anything, so we are not a real operator per se, but we essentially have all of the functionality an operator requires. We have our own SIM card base with the various technologies that we have. So we have on the macro side, so outside, and of course it covers the university entirely on the inside as well. We have a standalone available with different beam solutions that have been tested. We have 4G and 5G frequencies available. Cellular IoT, we have currently deployed more than 400 LoRaWAN sensors at the university campus to monitor various items, various objectives. We also have local energy consumption production measurement environment. We have done a lot of integration with various verticals. And we have a roadmap existing towards 6GTN. Next slide. So this is a overall layout of what we have. So if we start from the top, so we are federated to Slices SC architecture. We have basic connections with Nokia, public internet. Of course, we have firewall. We have solutions inside campus, computation facilities. We have SN Cloud Continuum within the University of Oulu. Available items are XApps and RIC, so real-time intelligent run intelligent controller. We have multiple different standalone and non-standalone cores, Nokia Open5GS, Kumu Core, and AlpeSmart. We are monitoring and measurement tools are mainly based on Cosium, and which is a passive network monitoring solution. And then, of course, Keysight Nemo, which we can especially monitor the run performance. We have multiple outdoor so installation or radios available. We have also millimeter wave existing. We have a lot of indoor base stations as well to be used for various purposes for local capacity. We are working on RIS infrastructure. We'll have some of it available already by the time that the OpenCall 3 project starts. Along with them, we have various different devices, drones, vehicles, VR, AR, phones, modems, and so forth. Next slide. So later on, if you want to inspect in detail, these are the exact equipment we have currently available. I want to emphasize that we also have a remote controllable robots, robot arms in here in case you are interested in proposing something with the usage of them to VR space. The next slide. So as I mentioned, we have several different 5G networks available. We have basically N78 band with 60 megahertz of bandwidth, and N77 band, both outdoor and indoor, with 100 megahertz bandwidth available with slicing. We have OA box solutions. We have OA box based O-RAN solutions with split 8 and split 7.2. And they are also equipped with FlexRig and 4X apps. Next slide. Jarno.
Okay, so the other test facility in Finland, in Oulu, is run by VTT. We have a similar, let's say, role as the University of Oulu as a micro operator for the VTT 5G test network. There is also a list of let's say configuration options here, but I would like to highlight compared to the list that Jussi already went through, the capability to have emulated UEs for scalability test in for example in vertical trial scenarios, and there is the similar let's say renewable energy production and measurement framework installed also at the VTT side of things for sustainability and energy consumption optimization use cases, and for testing purposes also for mobility tests. There's possibility for accurate time synchronization for client devices, so we are able to measure accurate one-way delays also for mobile clients when we are operating at the VTT close to the VTT premises. Next slide, please. Just an overview of the different let's say network deployments at the VTT site. So we have similarly, as Jussi mentioned, for the university campus, we have both 5G and also 4G LTE-M and NB-IoT coverage on the outside. 5G SA also for indoor coverage available based on commercial RAN equipment. Then we have on the outside, in the outside network, 2 cells, 5G millimeter wave cells operating at the moment with a total bandwidth of 800 megahertz in downlink and 400 in the uplink for let's say more capacity-driven use case trials. Next slide, please. On the O-RAN side of things, we have a commercial O-RAN platform deployed at the site at the moment, so it offers again a little bit different kind of testing possibilities for in the O-RAN space. We have both indoor lab coverage and also outside coverage available for the O-RAN platform, so this can be also utilized for vertical trials and the specific topics that will be discussed later in this webinar as well. But that's shortly the highlights from the VTT 5G and there is more details available in the deliverables and in the info documents at the website. Next slide, please. We are moving to the south node and into Spain. So next slide, we will start from the.
Yeah, I take the floor now. Thanks. This is Aurora Ramos from Capgemini. So in the south node is formed by 2 main facilities. On one side, on the right side, Faitoni, that is located in Madrid, and the testbed by I2CAT in Barcelona. This is the high-level view of the involved 6G XR partners. Capgemini providing the edge orchestrator and infrastructure, Ericsson providing the network equipment on both sides, and I2CAT managing all the testbed in Barcelona. Next slide, please. That we go into the details. So we have 2 edge locations that are connected through an intermec network. We offer a set of pre-configured slices for the experimenter to deploy their applications. We provide network as a service exposure capabilities that I will detail in the following slide. We have radio FX network in both nodes, in Madrid and Barcelona, and we have the network core only in Phitonic, so they are federated, and the physical transport is done through Ref Iris. Next slide, please. So as said, we offer network as a service capability with a set of APIs on top of the main make orchestrator in Phitonic that are aligned with Camara Linux Foundation APIs. So basically, the main ones is to offer more control over the quality of service for the application providers, aligned with the quality on demand API, Camara API. Also, one on the to enable the automatic edge selection based on UE location and optimal selection of optimal edge in a given time. Also on tracking influence to automatically reroute, let's say, traffic based on to optimize latency, and of course API to manage the whole lifecycle management of an application that is being deployed, which is aligned with the GSMA specification. Next slide, please. On the APIs on the network side that are exposing the network expansion function on the part of the network core by Ericsson, we have the service parameter API to perform the UPF selection, one API to fetch the location of the UE, quality of service session aligned with this quality on demand Camara API that was mentioned before, and the data collection API to retrieve the different performance metrics on runtime for the application. Next slide, please. On the available computing resources at Phitonic, focusing only in Phitonic, here is the on the left, the figure on the setup that we have. We have that when we say IAP central in the figure is the MEC orchestrator, but I would like to highlight that we have 2 different edge nodes. So even if Phitonic is federated with the capabilities in Barcelona, it is possible only in Phitonic to perform mechanisms to move from one edge to the other, migration or load balancing, or performing this use case of optimizing the application based on the selection of different edges. We can deploy both Kubernetes application and also VM-based applications, as is described in the tables. I don't go into the details in the tables, but we implement all this setup with 4 servers, as with the characteristics that are indicated there that you can check after. We have clusters with GPU capability, also SR-IOV, etc. With that, we move to the next slide, please, that go into the details on the, I2CAT computing resources, and I hand over to my colleague Mario from I2CAT here.
Thank you, Aurora. Yeah, so as Aurora explained, the edge computing platform in Barcelona in I2CAT is federated or connected to the one in Madrid. And in particular, in Barcelona, we have like a Kubernetes cluster with 2 workers. One has a Tesla T4 GPU and another one without GPU in case that any experiment or any application doesn't require GPU. And also in OpenCall 2, we added like a new PC, in fact, it's a PC that can be plugged or unplugged, and it has an GPU like an NVIDIA RTX 3060. Okay, so if we can go to next slide. So basically, applicants can choose between these two edge servers. In terms of radio access network infrastructure at I2CAT, we don't have core network. As Aurora explained, the core network is in Phiptonic. So in terms of RAN infrastructure, we have one macro cell at band N77 and two at band N258, okay? The CPEs that we have are listed on the slide, but more information are on the public deliverables and the OpenCall3 document. And we also support mobility between these bands, okay, as indicated on the slide. Note that we are focusing here on the outdoor RAN infrastructure. We also have indoor infrastructure, but we put our focus in OpenCall3 on the outdoor infrastructure, which has been recently set up. So if we can go to next slide, please. Yeah, there are just for reference some figures of experimentation activities that we have conducted in the last month, because we just finished the deployment of these new cells in the macro FR1 band, in mid band, and in the high band. In terms of bandwidth, power modulations, okay, and interestingly, we can see that, for example, the high and uplink and downlink throughput, and also the very nice round trip time latencies. Okay, so if you have like hard requirements, just indicate them in the feasibility check, and we will happily indicate if it is feasible or not. But the figures, as you can see, are quite high. So that would be from South Node. Thank you.
Okay,
So
I can shortly go through the internal use cases before we go to the actual topics that are firstly tied to these internal use cases, and there is also the open topic in the end. Just to give a glimpse to what have been worked on in the project itself, we have in the South Node, as mentioned earlier, the focus inside the project to real-time holographic communications as the let's say the main use case, and there is 3 aspects specifically that have been experimented with and investigated by the South Node partners. First, there is the resolution adaptation to quality on demand, where the aim has been to detect cell congestion and adapt to the XR resolution and traffic priority to the prevailing cell conditions. There is routing to the best edge that aims to select and make use of the most appropriate edge resources based on the specific goals that are set for the optimization. And there is control plane optimization as well, where holographic communications have been integrated to the net core network control plane. And to the North Node, there is 2 separate use cases. First, digital twins, and more precisely collaborative 3D digital twins, where real-time collaboration and control of physical assets in virtual reality have been the main focus over 5G networks. And the second one is related to energy consumption, and specifically to energy measurements and sustainability optimization based on the measurement data. So there is both real-time measurements and historical data collected from the infrastructure, and based on that, optimization of the end-to-end energy or power consumption of the mobile network is performed. But we go to the next slide. We get to the actual topics of the OpenCall3 in more detail.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Jarno. Let's start with the first one. Roberto?
Okay, I am Roberto from Vegan Tech, and I presented this topic, which is related to the holographic communication, our internal use cases. But the objective of this one is to provide different applications for that are complementary also for the holographic communication. So here the idea is to test our 6G platform in order to stream this volumetric video, including both encoding and protocols, which is one of the main topic for the 6G network, as it will require really lots of quantity of bandwidth and while low latency. So the main topic is to basically provide a new platform complementary to the one already proposed by our internal use cases in order to test novel implementation of encoding solution for volumetric video or a novel solution for streaming this volumetric video transmission.
Okay, now I will continue with a set of topics, and basically the motivation or the context for proposing them are common, I would say, and is that immersive and interactive technologies along towards 6G technologies have become key enablers for different verticals, okay? And in this case, we particularly focus on education and training. So we are seeking vertical experiments and demonstrations that provide full-fledged applications or platforms for immersive education and training. And ideally, these applications or platforms shall support immersive formats and rich interaction and collaboration features between distributed users. And of course, they shall exploit the 5G network and edge computing capabilities from the South Node, in this case from I2CAT. And I would serve as the mentor of this topic. Next slide, please. This is similar to the previous one, but in this case, the focus is on culture or virtual tourism or immersive events could also fit here. And in this case, the platform or the application shall support also immersive formats, but also here rich interaction with the environment. Okay, so the users can interact with the environment and also between themselves. So that would be essentially the description of this topic. Next one. Yeah, this one is a bit broader, a bit more flexible, we can say, and focus on smart industry and smart spaces, okay? In this case, we are also seeking full-fledged applications and platforms, including digital twins of counterpart real spaces, or it could also be ideated ones, okay? And in this case, the applications or platforms shall allow for rich data inspection and sharing, or simulation of the digital twins, or manipulation of the digital twins, and ideally the linked real-world counterpart, and/or remote collaboration between users. Maybe you are seeing a lot of things. These are just examples of things that we could fit here. And in this case, the target facility could be either I2CAT or Phitonic, or even both of them. Okay, we are open to proposals that could connect both of them. So the mentor would be I2CAT and Capgemini. And next one, please. I think it's the last one by me. Yeah. In this case, we are focusing on platforms and applications that support multimodal data. When we say multimodal or multisensory data are services or applications that beyond audio, video, and text support like different variants or forms of haptics. I mean, in its different form, it doesn't need to be all of them, of course, or even a sense, okay? Or a sense, a computer-generated sense. And which involve the participation of ideally multiple remote users. And in this case, the target facility would be I2CAT. And I would serve as the mentor. And I think that's all from my part, my side.
Yeah, I take it from here. So this topic is also aligned with the set of topics that was mentioning Mario on how the different verticals can benefit from XR applications in general. So this one would be related with the energy sector, in which can benefit a set for virtualization environments and digital twin. For instance, to make studies on the battery simulations is a bit and a kind of example, could be others, okay? And the plan would be that these experiments will be deployed using the capabilities on Phitonic. Next slide, please. This one is on collaborative, connected, and automated mobility scenarios. the idea here is, well, that's anticipate that this topic could be deployed both in I2CAT testbed or Pythonic, or even both through the federation. So it's fine to have it only in one of them. So the purpose is to provide this, to implement these mobility scenarios in the campus environment with urban mobility infrastructure that is available in the area, and demonstrate these kind of services that are intensive in terms of media processing, for example, to detect vulnerable road users or any kind of obstacle and so on. Just a note that the CCAMS devices need to be provided by the experimenters. And the main goal is to validate the performance on frequency range 2 under these mobility conditions, especially on the uplink, that is more constrained scenario, as well as CCAM services that are hosted near the farm. Next slide. I think we move, yeah, different topic here. Yeah.
Yes. Then, yeah, I will take this part. Then, so this is from the North Node. It is related with a digital twin. So 3D digital twin like environment is the topic. Then capable for that type of topic. Then the first one is the simulation and prediction in industry. Then VR assist communication, such as R&D, the manufacturing, construction, or even operation room in the medical type of as interactive real-time communication. Then the VR enable prototyping in simulation in the digital space with some of the intelligence, and then in the edge computing capable in the mobile network, so it can give the intelligence for productivity or even some efficient operations. Then it is expecting kind of predictive maintenance or real-time decision making with that. Then the goal of this, it is kind of experiment demonstration, like fully developed application platform, which enables the VR assisted communication and remote control as industrial verticals. Then our asset can be utilized as 5G test network, as a radio mobile network, and then the Babylon JS as a VR 3D engine. So this is open source, and then it is already we are using as an asset together with this mobile network, so it can be replicable by that. Okay, next, please. Then this topic is operational and training and remote collaboration. So this is more for educational type of or training type of activity with immersive, and then how to teach like skill development, such as vocational school or even medical training or some teaching in the education, or even kind of the business training type of. Then operational training, it is prioritized like human communication, not like VR game as kind of template type of VR game, not like that. It is need more communications or interaction with people's multiplayer or some IoT, robotics. Some of the collaboration, it is preferable. And then experiments and demonstration, it is, yeah, this is also focus, I mean, fully developed application and platform. Then asset, it is also same, but for the educational purpose, if the number of the user, it is quite many, but then VR glasses actually it's limited, like actually 2 Apple Vision Pro and then 1 Quest, Oculus Quest 3 or such. But other than the other things, maybe it can be a laptop or, I mean, tablet of those 2D. So that is also capable together with our test network. Okay, next, please. Then finally, from my side, it is as a digital twin, but it is more for the large place or the large area, such as the big data type of sensor fusion or environmental analytics, like big data together with edge computing intelligence. Then expecting like prediction from the big data or even enabling the some real-time feedback with the connectivity. Then telepresence as a visualized system. And then it is kind of the smart entertainment media in the stadium or sports or something, or smart cities, or even smart building maintenance, or smart farming as a like monitoring and then operation for such purposes. Then this is also needs some fully developed application platform. And then it is more for the real-time feedback, telepresence, together with big data type of activities. And the asset is pretty same for Babylon JS and then 5G, our test network facilities. Yes.
Okay, I will present a few topics focusing on the energy measurement framework and energy optimization topics. We are encouraging especially submissions that take use of the let's say a large amount of data we collect from the infrastructure related to the energy that we produce with renewable energy sources locally, and energy that we consume in the network equipment itself. So the first topic here is utilization of open data in the RAN optimization. So we have a set of API, open data APIs available in the network, especially related to the energy weather forecasting when it comes to the availability, forecasted availability of energy from the PV panels, so solar energy. Then we have CO2 estimations related to the power consumed from the electrical grid. We have hourly electricity spot pricing forecast for the next 24 hours and so on. So these combinations, different combinations of these open data sources together with the local data measured from the network can be used to develop algorithms for the RAN optimization with the different optimization targets in this topic. Next slide, please. The second topic here focuses specifically on the data that we measure from the infrastructure itself. So there is a database of historical data collected from the infrastructure, as well as a real-time feed of measurements coming from the different network devices. And the target, let's say the high-level target here would be to enable the network to run on renewable energy as much as possible. So the topic title itself is end-to-end energy budgeting, which means that we would like to see proposals that apply suitable AI methods and tools to predict and balance the traffic, the availability of renewable energy, and the total energy need based on the let's say the predicted load in the network for the next 24 hours. So this kind of optimization of the whole network's operation using the renewable energy availability as a boundary condition is something that we are looking for in this topic. Next slide, please. This topic is related more to the visualization of data that we are collecting. So the data related to the energy, data related to the network KPIs that we measure in the system during the experimentation of different use cases, and also visualization of data related to the resource consumption and consumption of not only the communication platform, but also the computing platforms involved in the use cases. So taking these different data sources, creating visualization, interactive visualizations showing trends in the consumption or need of different resources, or creating visualizations for monitoring, real-time monitoring of the system operations and so on is something that we are looking for here. We have some basic open source tools that we use already in the network, but the proposals are free to propose any tools that they feel that are best to use for this kind of interactive visualizations for different kinds of data. Next slide, please. Yes, and the last topic is focusing specifically on the energy measurement infrastructure. So the topic title is calibration, validation, and verification of energy measurement data. Here we are looking for proposals that propose a methodology or approach to ensure the accuracy and the operation of the energy meters, energy or power meters that we use in the infrastructure themselves, and guarantee with the aim to guarantee, let's say, the quality of the energy measurement data that we are collecting. So there is a variety of noise sources and sources of inaccuracies also in the energy grid and the energy network side of things, and those we hope to tackle in this topic together with the third party proposing tools here. So this is the last topic under this energy measurement and optimization issue.
Okay.
Next, we go to topic 4.
Yes, I'll take it. So this topic is AI supervised manufacturing. So the majority of the text is here is just an example, because depending on what you are proposing, the actual facility could be any of the 4 research infrastructures we have in the project. So these context and goals are mostly oriented towards all 5G TN, but some of them apply also to everywhere. But remember, these are only examples. So what we're looking at in here is AI at a bit higher level. So in our Open Call 2, we have already quite a few proposals and actually projects running on AI that optimize the functioning of the run with respect to the application or certain other criteria. Here we're more looking for one step up. So for example, a simulated factory environment with a hybrid environment that has partially simulated and partially real environment. So we have, for example, the robot arms that can be used in parts of the real, then the actual production would need to be simulated, and then it's the AI supervision over the process. Other use cases basically are welcome, doesn't need to be factory, can be also others, and feel free to propose any other similar type of situation. The goal is that, or the context that it should use the private 5G network of one of the research infrastructures for the factory control functions in order to verify the KPIs and the QoS basic parameters with respect to the case. So the goals for this is to explore the usability of private 5G network in AI assisted remote control, and also study so what can be effectively executed by AI supervision either locally or remotely. And basically the focus here needs to be IP networking and 5G network architectures. So we need to use those. And of course, then to study the QoS parameters, what are the thresholds on what is the feasibility of using these kind of approaches. Next slide. Then
This is on me, Oulu?
Yes.
Sorry, Jussi.
Yes, this is for you.
Okay, and then come back. Okay, this is, thanks, Jussi. So this is quite, let's say, open topic, aligned with somehow with the previous one, that is use of distributed AI, but for energy-related applications. We know with some context that there are several applications in the energy sector, like energy production optimization, predictive maintenance, etc. So it's just examples. Any applicability of the use of distributed AI in this kind of context, we will be happy to host it in the 5-tonic testbed. To use the infrastructure to save the infrastructure for this kind of application, experimental strategies on distributed AI around this kind of applications. And I think now I come back to you, Jussi, probably.
Yes, next slide. So this is the final topic 5. So we need to remember that this is an open call. So what it means is that you as proposers, you are welcome to propose anything that falls under the scope of what we can host as infrastructures or as use cases. So it can be another vertical, it can be another use case, as long as it's relevant to the concept of what we have in terms of infrastructures and use cases, that I mean they are feasible. Because if the proposal is too wild and it cannot be executed, then it will not pass the feasibility check. So feel free to propose practically anything other in terms of vertical replicability, but just bear in mind the documentation we have posted in here that are in this info document and also in our relevant deliverables, that we are able to actually support whatever you want to test. So remember that the use cases are tied to certain infrastructures. So use case 1 to 3, they are deployed in the south node, and you can only basically address proposals, or we can only address proposals relating to those use cases in the south node. And then the use case 4 and the use case 5, we can only address in the north node. So just bear in mind when doing this kind of proposal. The goals are to leverage whatever we have done in 6GXR, whatever the previous open calls, open call 1 and 2 have provided to the our network infrastructure, our computing infrastructure, our AI usage, our use case management, our use case processes, etc. So all of them are basically to be leveraged in this actual topic. So this call is, or this topic is support to provide support to the expected outcomes of the project, to show that basically we have done modular, flexible, and interoperable enablers that can be replicated, or can be with which you can realize different services or deploy them in various different verticals of interest. And yes, that's about it.
All
So
right.
next slide.
Thank you, Jussi. So we have arrived at the Q&A. I see there is already one person who has raised their hand, Cesar Diaz. I will allow you to pose your question and allow you to talk. This should work. Hello?
Yes, Cesar was put himself muted.
So please unmute yourself. Hello, Cesar Diaz. All right, maybe we can come back if this person is able to respond. So perhaps shall we address the question?
Yes.
All right, we have another raised hand. So Karan Mitra also.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Karan Mitra from Luleå University of Technology up here
Hello.
in North. I'm based in Skellefteå, which is 135 kilometers down from Luleå. I have a question regarding the use of network infrastructure or the assets that are made available as part of this project. I understand that from this presentation that we have to leverage those assets that are made available. But regarding the infrastructure per se, do you foresee the participants, if the proposal is approved, to travel to these facilities to actually conduct experiments, or can they do it in their labs, provided that the infrastructure or the assets could be replicated locally within our university? Thank you.
So maybe I can answer this. So the default expectation is that the experimenters will come and test at the facilities. Of course, during the development phase, and of course, if the proposal is in such a fashion that you want to, for example, leverage both the facilities, the target research infrastructure in 6GXR and your own, that is a possibility. And of course, to the, let's say, extent possible, it is also, you can use your own facilities, but it's really not easy to export the functionality available in the different research infrastructures so that you could effectively carry out or execute your project without actually coming here or coming to one of the facilities and actually do the actual testing in there. There are certain limitations to licensing, for example, where some of our components can be used only within the University of Oulu 5G test network. So any components that you bring in, we might not be, for example, able to install certain items in there. So hence the expectation is that at some point, at least for the final verification and validation, you will come to the research infrastructures to try out.
Thank you, Yusuf. I may have a follow-up question, if it's okay.
Yes.
Regarding the travel and lodging, when let's say if you need let's say a week to do experiments at your facility, let's assuming that it's University of Oulu, so we can, as part of the project proposal, have to mention it, right? Or is it expected that is mentioned?
You need to budget. You need to budget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
It's eligible cost, and you need to budget it.
Okay. Will there also be someone who can help us to answer some more questions regarding the budgeting, if it's possible, sometime later, if the project is being proposal is being drafted, please?
Well, as you can see from the shared screen, if you have more questions, you can reach us via the open calls at 6gxr.eu.
Thank you, Yusuf.
And yes, and if I comment on this, if you're gonna have a look at the document for the template for the proposal, is described how the proposal should be. So have a look, and then we are available to help you with the open call email.
Thank you, Maria.
No problem.
All right, so we have, I see two more questions in the Q&A box. I think you could probably address them. So one is the question is, I have a potential project which is mostly focused on XR, mixed reality, and not so much on 6G network infrastructure. Is this a kind of project applicable for this call?
Yes, it is applicable. Of course, I mean, if it's completely unrelated to the use cases we have and the infrastructure we have, I would estimate that the reviewers will not score it very well. So the external reviewers, but it is possible. So of course, it is preferable that since we, as the 6GXR projects, we need to validate the beyond 5G KPIs, 6G KPIs, and also the use cases that use these technologies. So in that sense, it is somewhat essential that at least the proposal you do is somehow tied to the project work that has been conducted in 6GXR. It does not need to be extremely infrastructure heavy, but it at least needs to basically be in line of what are our project objectives.
All right, I hope that answers the question for you. We have a second question, I think would be directed to Kenichi on visualization and data sharing, one of the topics. It is mentioned that the experiment and demonstration focus on fully developed applications and platforms. Does the application need to be at a high TRL level? In other words, would an application with TRL 3 be acceptable?
Right. Yeah, the application, it is kind of, I mean, not like really commercial. So please correct me if this is wrong, but
Yes,
yeah.
TRL3 is acceptable. Yes. But somehow there, I mean, it's essentially the lowest level of basically where you can validate something. But yes, it is acceptable. Would be preferable. It would be somewhere around TR4. But I mean, it's 3 is also acceptable as a proposal.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? You can also raise your hand directly, then I can unmute you, or if any other of the panelists.
I believe there was a question of the, let's say, which year is taken into consideration for the feasibility check. So the time of the launch of the call is what matters. So if you are eligible when the call is launched, then you are eligible for the call. So beginning of December this year.
Right, okay. Perhaps, Marika, do you maybe want to just show the overview of the topics we have, because we went over this very quickly. Yes, just be able to have a overview. I don't know if you see if there is anything else you want to add, or Marika, regarding the application process.
Yes, with regard to the application process, I would like to emphasize that please do read the draft third-party agreement, and if you cannot comply with that, the limit or basically the clauses set by the third-party agreement, then I would advise thinking whether you're going to submit at all. The third-party agreement, there is almost or practically no possibility for negotiation. We are at the end of the project and we must complete all of the projects and the payments before the end of the project. So before you submit, take a look at the third-party agreement, and if you if it's acceptable to your organization, then feel free to submit.
All right. Okay. So we have one more question on eligibility, either Marikia or Lucy. So whether an RT or public organization is eligible for submission.
Yes.
All right, that's
So
clear.
essentially, so I mean, if you the default is that if you are eligible for European Commission funding, you are eligible here.
Okay, then if there are no more questions, then I think we can. All right. Then we can just conclude this information webinar. We're almost at the end of our time slot. So thank you everyone for joining this information webinar. If you have any more questions, as you already mentioned, please email us at opencalls@6gxr.eu. Feel free also to share this call with further with your networks. It's always good to spread the word. So yes, and we wish you all the best for your submission, and happy holidays for the period ahead. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.